Ball 100, Indiana State 62. My goodness, Cameron Boozer. What a performance by him. Big game. I mean, I don't know what word. I don't have words for Cameron Boozer right now. I'm struggling, JD.
Back to back 100-point games. And Cameron Bruiser, decided. What did the announcer say? That they spoke to his dad, and his dad said to step it up a bit tonight.
Well, it's funny you say it that way. I took it as Cam told his dad, "I'm taking it up a notch today or tonight."
Well, it
It
would
was a
be
little bit.
tonight.
It would be tonight.
And ESPN is back, even though we had to watch it on whatever
Sling.
Sling.
Yes. All right. So let's go through the game. We'll start off with we did miss the first minute and a half trying to figure out Sling, but which was probably a good thing. It first minute and a half was not good. 3 turnovers. We did get an early Cam Boozer bucket. This game was 14-4 Indiana State.
And then we outscored them 47-18 to finish the half 51-32. I mean, it's sort of like, so this wasn't a case of what does Shire say to them at halftime. It was 14-4. And he said, there must, at that first break when it was 14-7, I would again love to hear it. I wish we could just, for the sake of the podcast, be able to include it.
Yeah, could you please put your phone on vibrate there?
Yeah, well, that's probably, it's your mother checking in. Okay.
Oh, yeah. She wants to know the score of the game, I'm sure. But yeah, then, so it's 14-4 Indiana State. We had some really important possessions early on, I thought, from a handful of players. We're going to spend a lot of time on Cameron Boozer, but I just wanted to point out early on, Caden Boozer, Hamenia, Malik Brown, Caleb Foster, I really felt like were really important players for turning the tide early in this game, along with the obvious big fella, Mr. Cameron Boozer, who, we talked about the Army game, felt like the first half was kind of going through the motions. He was there. He didn't have a bad game, but we didn't feel his impact. Tonight,
just get it out of the way. What's his line?
Tonight, 35-point performance, tied for the second best freshman scoring margin or point total with Jared McCain and Zion Williamson. He had 12 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, 3 blocks, and he only had 1 turnover. The only thing that I'm sure you didn't love was the free throw shooting, 7 of 11.
I'm not happy. I'm not happy when the Duke team shoots under 80%. And I think you told me that they shot as a team 67% or
67%, yes.
67%. And that is unacceptable, because as much as these games, we win by 40 points, there are things you want to, perfect. That was one of the things.
I just want to get through the positives first before we go to the things, the negatives.
I'm sorry. In a game that we just demolished the opposition, the free throw shooting was really.
We're going to get to it. I promise. We're going to let you go there. But listen, in the game we won by 38 points, I don't want to start with the negative.
I want to talk about free throw shooting because it's the only part of my game that's left. But go ahead.
Okay. Well, that's a personal vendetta there. Well, look, I thought Cam set the tone because he just decided early on with the way this game started. Duke was I mean not going to lose this game. Duke wasn't going to lose this game, but he was going to make sure that this wasn't going to be a close contest. There's the blocks, the steals, scoring inside and out, but especially inside in this game, he was just forcing his way down low. And then Caden, I felt like when he came in, he brought energy. He had a block, he had a steal. He did a good job just bringing the energy level up with Hemenia and Brown early on. I thought it was really important. And then, like Caleb Foster early on had some really good minutes for the Blue Devils, getting some timely buckets. His defense was really good. I can hear our sound technicians in the background. They're having a good time. So, for a game in which, as you said, we had a really good finish to the first half, and that was a nice change because, as so many times, it's what does he say at halftime? They were able to make the adjustments in the middle of the first half, which was good to see.
Well, it was great how they a 47-18. They outscored them by they outscored them by 29 points in that stretch, and they finished the half up by 19, and they finished 51-32, 100-62. So they kind of doubled them up in both halves and wound up with a 40-point, off by a point here, a point there, but really 40-point win.
40-point win. Not, math would say not quite doubled up, but they won by 20 points each half, basically.
All right, wait. So technically,
yes,
they
ahead.
won by 38. And what did you tell me the spread was?
Oh, you're right. You're right. It was 37 and a half.
37 and a half is the spread, and they win by 38. And you wonder why the Attorney General of New Jersey just opened an investigation into betting in college basketball.
Those
multiple sports, but
Darren Harris threes at the end there were big for Duke 37 and a half bettors right there.
Well, right. I mean, someone should investigate Darren Harris because the guy wasn't hitting.
Wait, whoa.
No one
should investigate Darren Harris. Let's not. No. You gotta take that statement back. We don't need anybody investigating Duke. He didn't. YouTube, anybody listening, he didn't mean it. He didn't mean it. He didn't. He didn't even say it. I didn't hear anything. We're gonna move on. We're gonna move on.
We won by 38, and the spread is 37 and a half. And they're sitting there going, what should the spread be on this game? All right, 37 and a half.
Well, the Army game was 31 and a half, and they weren't very close on that one. So
no.
Sometimes they get it right, Sometimes they get it right. Now, all right, we've had some fun here, the betting line. I want to talk about Malik Brown.
Wow. Wait, before you talk, where's my wallet? Where's my phone? I just want to make certain nothing's stolen.
It's deflected. It's probably on the floor.
It is just I've said it before. I have never seen someone who is not just like a rim protector affect the game. And we were talking about how there are guards that can come up with multiple steals, but doctor of deflection, Malik Brown, it's just incredible. Now you see it. Now you don't. 3 is coming out. He should have been in it.
Yes. Okay. And the one. All right. So the defense we all know about. It's fantastic. He blocked. He had blocked. I mean, by the way, he's not typical shot blocker. It's mostly deflections and steals. But tonight he had a couple of blocks. And the thing I love the most, actually, was he was aggressive going to the rim. He got a couple of dunks tonight. I don't think he had more than 6 points. I'll pull up the stats in a little bit, but I like to see that part of the game. Quickly, for those of you guys who haven't subscribed to the channel, we're only a handful away from hitting 2,000. Love to see what you guys have to say about the game in the chat and like this video. We really appreciate it. Um, but boy, Malik Brown is so much fun to watch. And the only time, we talked about this during the game. The only time I've ever really seen him show emotion, he dunks it, he steals it, deflects it. There's same face, same face. But the time when the player on Indiana State, kind of hit him two or three times, he gave him a shove back, and I wish they would have left the camera on so we could see that full interaction there. It's one of the very few times you see Malik Brown show really any emotion, and it wasn't like he was super angry. He was just letting him know, don't mess with me, basically. I'm not the one to be trifled with here.
You might think I'm mellow, but don't. No.
Yeah, he's not the one. He is not the one. And there's some other good performances. I think this is a good time. I'll pull up the stats and we can go through the guys one by one. We'll go through them one by one, and then I'll get to the medals, and we'll head over to the chat to wrap as we get to the second half of our show here. So, stats for the Blue Devils in this one. First of all, I give ESPN a lot of flack. I'm really happy they've added minutes to their college games during the live portion, so we can pull this up easily now. We talked about Cam Boozer's line. Caleb Foster, 23 minutes in this game, 14 points, 4 rebounds, couple assists, 2 turnovers, and a steal. I thought it was like he started off now defensively really good throughout the game. This is all. The rest is just about the offense. Started off really good. He knocked down a 3-pointer early. He knocked down both his free throws. He had a nice floater, first 7 points. Then he missed his next 6 or 7 shots, somewhere in that range.
And it was started with going 0 for 2 from the free throw line, which is, we think, his Achilles heel. That there's something about he needs to. All right, you don't want me to talk about free throw shooting, okay?
No, that was a perfectly fine segue. Continue.
Well, all right. As someone who can still shoot close to 90% from the free throw line in our driveway when there's no one there. So, yeah, I'm one of those.
One other point, and the rim is only 9 feet 7 inches. So I think there's a little bit of a.
Well, that's because of you trying to dunk on it. You so bent the rim.
Just gotta lay out the facts. Gotta let the audience know.
It started with, we were really thinking Foster was putting in an incredible game. Then he missed the 2 free throws and then went and missed 6 shots in a row. And then he had an entirely different streak when he hit 7 points in a row, very within the span of like a minute and 45 seconds. It was so overall.
Good game.
Overall, good game, but you could understand why, like Shire's like a way to go. No, you're sitting down. We got to get you out of the game. No, come on back in.
Well, I actually think the sitting down was more for the 2 other guys on the court. And Foster also had that stretch where he lost the ball on a couple layups, but then he responded. I actually really love the fact that he responded in the game. The same way that Duke responded in the first half. I really love the way Foster, that could have easily snowballed, and he could have ended this game, 2 for 10 or something. But he hit those 3, or 2 for 9. He hit those 3 shots at the end, the 3-pointer, the couple of 2s, and I thought it was really important for him and for the team moving forward. Now, Evans and Gangba, because it was the 3 of them that got benched early in the second half. And let's go to Evans, because it was a very I don't know what the right word would be. Uneasy, maybe, would be the right word. performance from Evans. He had 3 turnovers in this one, but he also had 2 steals and 2 blocks. So the defense, in terms of the playmaking, was still there. He's averaging over a block per game, which I know he's 6'7", but he's our de facto shooting guard, which is pretty crazy for your shooting guard to be averaging over a block a game. And now I think he's at a steal per game. Now, offensively, he is expanding his repertoire this season. And I felt like I actually said I thought he was our second best alley oop guy at one point this game. And then he had a couple of turnovers off of alley oops. He had the turnover, which I thought was the right idea, but he didn't see the Indiana State player where he got the steal and then, or the rebound, and then tried to pass it immediately as a bounce pass. But the Indiana State guy was like clearly in the picture. He just had he had 3 turnovers. There's a number of poor passes. Live ball turnovers really hurt Duke in this game. Even though Duke only had 12, which isn't a horrendous number, just a lot of them led to Indiana State buckets. And then Evans, the threes weren't going down. 1 for 5. It's tough with him because you know he can make tough ones, but I feel like when he takes the tough ones is what matters. And I felt like tonight he settled for some tough ones rather than finding a rhythm and then shooting the contested threes.
Well, and especially that wide open corner three, and no one there. It was like your percentage should go up, especially with a 3-point shooter. I mean, that was one that I thought was not his best shot. You know, others where he's contested, one thing, but that was wide open.
I view it differently, actually. I don't mind that he missed
I
it.
suspect you would.
Well, yes, because I'm more about I'm more about your shot selection than if the shots are necessarily going in. That's why for Foster, even though he missed those 6 or 7 in a row, I felt like they're good shots. You know, the ball slips out of his hand on the layup, okay, but he was taking good shots for the most part. With Evans, I felt like a couple were forced tonight, but the corner one that you're talking about was a good shot, just didn't happen to go in. I'm gonna live with Isaiah Evans hitting or shooting uncontested corner threes. Now Gangba, or you have one more point on Evans?
I was going to say, what did you say? He shot from 3.
1 for 5. If that corner three that's open goes in, he's 2 for 5, 40%. So it's not that
not his best 3-point night.
So that's for sure.
But to your point, I love that he's added this to his repertoire, that he had to figure out how to drive to the basket, because if he was going to be just only a 3-point shooter, it makes it easier to guard him. So now if he can mix it up by then having the guy come out at him and he goes to the basket, that should make it easier for him from 3-point range.
Gangba, 21 minutes. He did pick up 2 fouls in the first half. His second foul is in the 9:36 mark, that's been his Achilles heel for sure, going back to last season and this year as well. He finished with 9 points, 8 rebounds, couple assists, couple turnovers. He had 4 blocks, including that stretch where he had like 3 blocks in a minute. And if you looked at the stat line, you'd say solid game. And I thought there were like good stretches, and there were some stretches where I wish you felt his impact a bit more. But I felt like in the second half, he played better than the first.
Well, so you're John Shire, and you're looking at you already detailed how I think Foster was good. Then he had a tough stretch, and then he came back. And Gangba was also inconsistent. And the Evans was, good. It's kind of, I now actually think I know who the third medal goes to, because he was consistent. But okay, we'll get there.
Lastly, for the starters, Dame Sar, 18 minutes, 10 points, couple assists, couple turnovers and assists, sticking on the theme of inconsistent, we didn't get to see the first minute and a half, but he came out of the game at like the 17:20 mark. And I know he was one of the 3 early turnovers, and he didn't come back until like the 8:30 mark, which to me said Shire was using that as a teaching opportunity for Sarr, who did play better after that, but an inconsistent game for Sarr, I would say, overall. But when he came back into the game, his defense went up a level. He immediately stole the ball, got a dunk. He made both his dunks in this game. So, his defense is, especially when him and Brown are out there together, is a lot of fun to watch.
Uh, it, you know, I do this to you all the time. In the NFL, I go all the way back to the Steel Curtain. And when the Pittsburgh Steelers were winning their 4 championships, it was as much fun to watch them on offense with, Bradshaw and Harris and Swan and Stallworth as it was to watch them on defense. And you would almost look forward to them coming out and playing defense. There's something about this Duke team on defense. I'm putting $5 in to compare to last year to say we had an interesting discussion about the combination of Malowach and Cooper versus the combination of Gangba and Boozer. Now, I don't know that it's going to be direct 2-2. That's not fair to what is happening with the entire defense of Duke this year, which is, I can't wait for the matchups coming up in the end of November and December to find out if this steel curtain, if you will, is going to continue. Their defense is fascinating.
The only reason Indiana State scored 62 points was because Duke's turnovers offensively.
Right.
That the live ball turnovers, without that, they're low 50s most likely. The Duke had 13 steals and 13 blocks in this game. Just wild. Now I want to go to the bench quickly because we got to get to the medals and then the chat. So Malik, 6 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. He did have 4 fouls in this one. Use them. I just wish he wasn't necessarily in foul trouble. What a awesome player to watch. I really am going to enjoy watching him for the rest of the season. Hamenia, I believe this is what you were alluding to before. 9 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, only 1 turnover as well. Caden, 4 points, 3 rebounds, an assist, 1 turnover, 2 steals, and a block. By the way, that block was pretty cool. It was a nice block. And one of his 2 points, he tipped it in instead of his brother, which was cool for him. And then lastly, Darren Harris had 8 points, and he had those 2 threes in the last segment again, and 3 rebounds for Mr. Harris. And lastly, I should say, shout out Jack Scott, a pair of rebounds near the end of the game.
The final 4 minutes, if he came in just before, they got him in, and then if he got a rebound or a block, what was his stat?
A block. He did get a block.
Block. He got a block. Jack Scott got 2 rebounds.
Sheffield and a rebound and an assist.
So, hats off to the Minutemen, the 4 Minutemen.
The Minutemen. Okay. So before we head to the chat, the medals for tonight. Gold medal, it should be like a double gold medal or a platinum medal. Cameron Boozer, just a wrecking ball out there. And if this was if this was like the game in which Cooper scored 42 points, it's not a comparison, just a fact. If this was like that game, because that game against Notre Dame was a close game. If this was a close game, I think Cameron's at least getting to 40. Because he didn't really play. He didn't play the final 6 minutes, and if this was a closer game, he sure would have been out there.
And Jack, I mean, they weren't great players, but they had two guys that were like 250, 260. It's not like he didn't have big guys bumping them. They're not like, I get it, they're not top echelon, but still, there was
Well,
some weight on them, and that can wear on you.
yes. The only thing I would say is that for the most part, those guys were matched up with Gangba or Brown. They didn't. The guy who was guarding Boozer was typically like 210 to 220, which
Okay, good point.
but they were there. They were a presence there. Now Silver, Malik Brown. I mean, we got to start a deflection counter. Next game, we got to start one because it is absurd. I'm gonna make you. I'm gonna assign that job to you. You're our deflection counter for
Doctor
Malik
Deflection. I am going to keep it.
and the Bronze. The Tuesday night game was maybe a little bit. I should have gone with Caden, but in this one, no qualms here. Hamenia, Swiss
Absolutely. We
Swiss
were
Army
having
knife.
we were having like who we're going to give it to. There were half of Caleb's game was medal worthy. Half was maybe not, but Humenya, his stat line, but the stat line doesn't even take into account the guy is just always in motion, and he is a classic glue guy that is not going to show up in the stat line, though his stat line was actually pretty good tonight.
It was pretty good, and Foster, he's right there. Like I think this could be Foster or Humenia, similar to last week not last week, Tuesday night, where I said it could have been Caden or Humenia. I feel like this could be Foster or Humenia here because he was our second leading scorer in this game and played good defense like he has been all season. So let's head over to the chat and see who we got here. So Laura, thanks for joining us again, Laura. Laura says, hello, fellow Duke fans. Foster way more improved in this game, ended up with double digit in points. Cam Boozer was only 7 points behind Flag from last season, who had 42 points. If Cam keeps playing like this, he may eventually bypass it in a game this season. So, let's talk. We'll go to Foster, then Cam. Yes, too many C names. It does get confusing. Foster, this was his high score for the season. Definitely not for his career, but this for the season, 14 points. He started off strong. He had that stretch where he wasn't hitting his shots, and he finished strong, which I really love to see from Foster. And he's stacking good games here for sure. And the defense continues to be very good. Very good defender, especially on ball from Caleb Foster. And
so to Laura's point, it really was good, even though he had that down period that I was making fun of there, like the fact that he came back, finished with that quick flurry of 7 points. So he walks off the court feeling good about his game.
And to your point, if he goes 1 for 2 from the free throw line, the second go around, he's 3 for 4. You're feeling like, okay, you're feeling better about where he is. It's not 80%, but for Caleb Foster, that's an improvement.
Just checking your math.
I never said that. So, Lawrence Freeman. Shout out Lawrence. Our passing wasn't very crisp tonight. Too many live ball turnovers. Yes. Just in a game in which Duke won by 38. But besides Cam Boozer, there's a lot of teachable moments in this game. And even Cam's going to go back, I'm sure, based on everything we know about the guy, and he's going to shoot free throws. He's probably already shooting free throws tonight. Because he's going to say, I could have had, 39 points if I hit all 11. Realistically, if he hit 2 more, 9 of 11, I don't think that's quite 80%, but it's damn close. So 2 more, you're 9 of 11 from the free throw line, you're feeling pretty good.
They don't call it the charity stripe for nothing.
No. But the live ball turnovers are certainly something that Shire's going to have them work on. Because outside of that first, that 14-minute or 14 points in the first 4 minutes for Indiana State, the defense was really good again.
Well, you can have fun with that, and you can say take out the 14 points in that early run, and it's 100-48.
Well, 96-48 because we had 4 points.
I lost your audio. Can you hear me?
Yep.
No. Yes.
Yes.
All right.
All right, JD's having a little bit of technical difficulties.
No, you're back. You're back.
All right.
I hear you.
All right, so we're going to continue. ACBC didn't like how Foster casually shot his free throws. He missed a lot. For a point guard, that's unacceptable. Otherwise, the team played very well. Sar was outstanding. Darren Harris saved our day, and I believe that's a betting comment. Let me know if I'm wrong, ACBC. Malik and Big Pat, defensive machines. Thought Sar, Brown, Pat, and Cam stood out in this game. Cam had 35 points. Front court show. Anything in there you want to pick out?
No, they're good observations about the game, and kind of loved it.
And then lastly, Macaroni Daddy, shout out to you. On the way home with my son, what a night! Got Carlos Boozer's autograph. Oh, how cool! That's pretty cool.
Wait, sound went out again. What was that?
Macaroni Daddy got Carlos Boozer's autograph.
That's one for the wall.
That's a great Duke autograph to get. And the national champion Carlos Boozer,
and go back now and get the two sons to sign underneath it.
I think it's probably easier to get Carlos's than it is Cameron and Caden at this point. Yeah, you're cutting in and out. Probably a good time here to wrap up. We will have the preview out for the Kansas game on Sunday. That will be Tuesday night. Just one quick note on that game. Darren Peterson ruled out for the game that Kansas has Saturday. Still, he's missed a couple of games now with his hamstring injury. So I hope he will be healthy for the Duke game. It'd be a much better game with him. And want to play the best teams with their best players. And Peterson and Boozer, Cameron Boozer, two of the best 4 freshmen in college basketball. So I want to see, obviously it's not a direct matchup, but I want to see those two guys on the court going up against each other. So subscribe to the channel. We're only a handful away from 2,000. Like this video. Be on the lookout for our preview Sunday. Until then, guys, peace.